Hello, everyone. It's Thursday afternoon live with the Colorful Cookie. So today I decided that I would go live as I do every week in the Colorful Cookie Club at 1 p.m. Central. And I'm live on my page on YouTube. So if you want to watch on YouTube, you can. If you have friends who are cookiers who are not on Facebook, they can watch this on YouTube. And I think I'm live in every group I've got. Cookieathon, Procreate for Cookiers. I decided that I haven't done a live for a long time with a teaching tutorial for everyone, and I wanted to do that. I also wanted to show you, if you're interested in learning Procreate, the Procreate for Cookiers sign-up page, and then also Santa is going to be offering gift certificates for those of you that want a membership to the Colorful Cookie Club. That will be live next week. We'll be sending out an email about that. So oftentimes, I used to do a tutorial on one skill for one software, but as time has gone on, I feel like I want to show the whole... I'm going to have to lock my dogs up. I have my son's dog. Sorry about that. Molly, no. I'm going to go put her in the bedroom here in just a second. Let me do that so that she does not cause a problem and start barking, because everybody will bark if she barks. Sorry, hang on just 1 second. Okay, what a way to start. Sorry about that. I'm watching my son's dog today, and there are people outside working across the street, and she just keeps barking. Okay, back to where I was. So Santa is going to be offering gift certificates to the Colorful Cookie Club for memberships. I'm going to be talking to you today about Procreate. I used to do one tutorial on a skill, and I would alternate between Design Space or Silhouette Studio. I would show how to design stencils. I would show then the following week how to design cookie cutters, how to use Procreate. And so I found sometimes for some people, they like to see the whole entire process all at once. And so I started combining those things, and my tutorials became a little bit longer. Some people like them in shorter chunks. However, I can't please everybody, so I just do what I feel like I need to do during a tutorial. So that's what you're going to see today, and this is what I do every week in the Colorful Cookie Club when I go live. So you can learn so many skills between, for designing stencils, for designing cookie cutters, for drawing in Procreate if you want to digitize your cookies. You know, I just realized I can't see your comments. Hold on. There they are. Hello. Now I'm seeing you guys. Oh boy. Okay. It is a big dog. That's for sure. Anytime, anything, she's not at her home, so any little strange noise or something out the front window, she barks. So greetings from Michigan. Hello, Michigan. Hello, Donna. So I'm just going to be showing you a lot of things today, and hopefully you'll learn something new and it will spark your interest, and maybe you will want to join the Colorful Cookie Club, which I highly recommend because it's a lot of fun. It's very empowering, and you have total creative freedom when you can design your own cookie cutters and stencils, and you can do anything you want to do to customize your cookies. And so I enjoy that very much. I enjoy teaching everyone, and that's what I'm going to do today, and hopefully you'll learn something. And if you do, I would love to hear about that. Believe it or not, a lot of times I teach every week. I haven't counted, I'm going to say over 1,500 videos on our website in the library. And I rarely you know, people will comment, you know, questions or thank you and this and that, but I would love to hear sometimes just what someone has learned. Believe it or not, I don't hear it very often, and I would love to know that when I'm teaching, I'm not just talking to myself. Um, and I know you all are learning, and it's easy, you know, on Facebook when you're watching. I do the same thing. I watch tutorials, and I try to comment here and there, but let me know if you learned something new. In the club, a lot of people will comment on those lives, and a lot of people also watch a replay and then will comment later. So let me know if you learned something new. Alrighty. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the website where to find me. I'm Nancy Westfall, for those of you who don't know me. I am the owner of The Colorful Cookie and The Colorful Cookie Club, and also Procreate for Cookiers. I'm also the creator of Cookie-a-thon, the huge online event for cookie decorators all around the world. I love everything that I get to do every day. It's so much fun. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy this. So let me go here and show you where to find me. Sometimes people don't know where to find me. If you go to, let me back up here. If you go to the Colorful Cookie, the homepage here, when you look across the top of the menu, you're going to see Procreate for Cookiers, and then you can scroll down to the bottom and you'll see here's information on the club where you can learn to design cookie cutters and cookie stencils and printables and JPEGs and SVG files. And if you have an edible direct-to-food printer, you can make your own images for that and learn how to do that. Here's the Procreate Fast Track for Cookiers. This was our recent event, Holiday Cookie-a-thon, and I also offer personal design instruction for those of you who just want one-on-one, and this is a 3-hour time that we get to spend together, just you and me online. So up at the top here, I'm going to click on Procreate for Cookiers, and it's going to take you to this page. And this just talks to you about the Procreate courses that I offer. And you'll see right here what is in this course. The fundamentals of Procreate, important stuff you should know, designing a cookie set, and more fun with Procreate. Now, there's not just 4 videos on the website for this. There's like 36 videos, I think, and lots of downloads for you. These are just the categories that the videos are in. If you want to purchase this class, you can do that. And there is a $50 off coupon code still active. The coupon code for that, if you click on jump on the fast track Procreate for Cookiers, it will take you to the checkout page, and you can type in the word Cookie-a-thon and it will take $50 off. And you have access to this forever. All right, so the other thing I was going to show you is the Colorful Cookie Club. So if you click here, you can, it says that we're closed, but get on the wait list. So if you want information on forwarding an email to Santa to let him know you would like the membership, we're going to be sending that out next week. So you can join the wait list here, and you can just kind of get an overview of the things that we cover in the Colorful Cookie Club, plus tons more. If anybody here is watching from the Colorful Cookie Club, they can definitely comment and let you know how good the club is. So also, these are frequently asked questions. You just click on the plus sign and it will give you information there. So I was going to also show you here. Oh, whoops, I'm live on YouTube, by the way. If you'd like to watch on YouTube I'm going to close that. I don't want that playing music. I'm live on YouTube right now as well. If you have anybody who is not on Facebook who wants to watch on YouTube. So after this live, I will go back through the comments everywhere. Whoops, I need to switch back. I'll go through all the comments everywhere that I am live. I have to go back through individual comments in each place, and I will answer your questions and post links to things. Also, something I didn't mention is when I do a tutorial like this, I always share the files. I either create the artwork myself by drawing it or using shapes in Silhouette Studio. In Cricut Design Space, I can share the Cricut project with members, but I always share the STL files for all the cookie cutters that we make. So not only am I teaching you a skill, I'm sharing the files with you that I create during that tutorial. So if there's a stencil or stencils, cookie cutters, whatever, you get that many files, royal icing transfer templates. And so last week, or 2 weeks ago, before Thanksgiving, we did a tutorial in Cricut Design Space, and I showed how to make a cookie platter using Cricut Design Space. So I cover so many things and so many softwares, and it's so much fun. So if you're interested and you're creative at all and you love decorating cookies, you're going to love learning to customize everything that you do and downloading all the files from the website library. Okay, I'm going to go here to, I'm going to go to Procreate first. Now, I have to tell you guys, my sister laughed, well, both of them laughed at me yesterday because I said, I'm going to do a live tomorrow to show how to use Procreate. She goes, that sounds weird. You're going to do a live to show Procreate? How to Procreate? Like, yeah, that's what it's called. And other people laugh at that too. And I never thought about that at first when I first learned how to use it, but it does sound kind of funny. But I am going to show you how to, not everything about Procreate because it's impossible to do that in this time frame, but I am going to show you how I make a design. I'm not going to show you how to draw something specifically, but you can import any clip art into Procreate if you want to digitize something to share with a client. You don't actually want to make the cookies for it. And that is what the Procreate for Cookiers, the fast track. I show you every single tool in Procreate that we need to use as cookiers and how to draw and make stamps and all kinds of things there. So let me go to my phone here so that you can see. Oh, well, I need to turn it on. Hang on. There we go. All right. I didn't want to drain the battery, so I went ahead and just turned my phone off. Now, I think this is in pretty good view. I don't know about you, but I can see it perfectly on my screen. I can't check any of my devices because I'm using them all right now. So can you tell me if you can see this clearly? I can see very clearly on my screen, but my screen is connected to my Wi-Fi and it's super, super sharp. So, okay, looks good. Okay, great. For those of you who are wondering, I have a 12.9 inch, I think that's what it is, or 11.9 inch iPad. I also, this is the, I got this maybe a year and a half or two ago. And, oh good, you can see it. You can use any size of iPad. That's newer. Procreate is an app. I believe now it's $12.99. It's a one-time purchase. It looks like this little icon right here. And this is how my gallery looks. I have stacks of designs in this app. This is an app, $12.99, one-time fee. All future updates are free. I have different categories, as you can see here, things that I've drawn. I've taught Procreate classes at CookieCon several times. Sometimes I just piddle around. I've drawn papers, patterns for stencils, and then the Christmas category is here. I've just got a category for every holiday. I even make royal icing transfer templates in Procreate, cookie sets, all kinds of things. So I'm going to open my Christmas stack. This is called the stack. This is the gallery that we're looking at. I'm going to open the stack, and you can see different things I've got here. Now, down here, let me show you. Like, for example, this one, this is clip art. Whoops, I don't want to rename that. And I did, look at there. This is clip art that I purchased that I brought into Procreate. So is this. You can do that, and you can make stencils from it. See, this is clip art from my scrap chick, I think. And I made a set of cookie cutters, and you can use these if you have a direct-to-food printer or an edible printer, you want to print on icing sheets. You have the clip art to go with it as well that comes with the purchase, and it's very inexpensive. So I'm telling you guys, there's millions of things you can do here. I've made cookie cutters, as you can see here. One of our members drew some of this, Mary Kerr, and I showed how to make a cookie cutter. Actually, it's a 3-piece cookie cutter for her little Gingy there. And I've just done all kinds of things. In fact, I thought, okay, I'll make this platter with the tree base at the bottom. Then I flipped the trees and I put the stars at the top. Then I made this one where I did holly and just little circle cookies as fillers, you know. And then I can teach how to make this stencil. This is one I've not taught yet, but I did draw it to teach. I can only cover so much in one tutorial, and anybody can tell you that, boy, when I get started teaching, I can go on and on and on and teach forever just using one piece of clip art. It's amazing the things that we can do with stencils, cutters, royal icing transfers from one little simple piece of clip art. So I thought today, since I had this image, and I did draw this Christmas tree, and I used it as clip art, and I built it around the circle, as you can see. Now this one is a little close to the circle, and these trees are not super close together. You can, if you're a mathematician and you know how to figure out how close things need to be and how many can be in the circle, you could probably figure that out quickly. I tend to do it the old-fashioned way because I hate math. And what you're going to see here are all of my layers. These are all the trees that you're looking at here. I even have some here hidden. If I tap this, it will make them, I call this playing peekaboo. It'll make them be visible here. See that? But I noticed this one is a little bit out of order, so I'm not sure which one that is. And there is there it is right there. There is a tool in Procreate that if I wanted to isolate that just by tapping on it, I can, but I don't use that. I just do it the quickest way I know how. And I can just move that out a little bit. So you can see that these trees have distance between them. Well, that's okay. You can actually make this Christmas tree larger, and you need one cutter for this tree, which I do share. I will share this, by the way. For those of you who aren't in the club and can't log into the website and get the download, I will find a way that to get that to you. Probably what I'll do is, well, I could send out an email, or maybe you could email me and let me know you want the file and I can send it to you. I'll figure out a way, and I'll send out an email or make a post in the comments of these lives. So I'm trying to figure out so I have so many things I do want to show you, but I have this light bulb, and so I suppose we could use this light bulb. You can see I made this. This is a drawing from a long time ago. I made these light bulbs, and I thought, well, I've already done the trees, and I'll share this file with you. You can see what this is supposed to look like. The trees that I have made into a cookie cutter, they all fit pretty tight around a circle, and I can share an image with you for that so you'll know. All right, so this is not to teach you the ins and outs of Procreate. That, like I said, it would just take too long. So I won't cover all the tools, but as I'm using the tools, I will explain to you what I'm doing so that you will know. So here is this light bulb, and to get this into here, you can see I have one light bulb on a layer here, and I turned off the background color, which is white. And if I tap that, you see it disappears. I did that so I could export this transparent PNG into Silhouette Studio to show how to make a cookie platter there, which to me is a whole lot easier to line it up perfectly in Silhouette Studio because you have the replicate tool. So, all right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn that background back on. I'm going to go back to my gallery and show you something. So I am in this other project that I have here, and you can see this blue light bulb is here. All these are visible, but I just want to isolate this. Let's do a red one. Let's tap on this and hold, and it will isolate it. And you can see for some reason, I don't know why, but I have some yellow there. And before I move this, I'm just going to erase it. I just tapped on the eraser here. And I was going to tell you, I'm using a Generation 2 Apple Pencil. It is round. It does not have a flat side. And it's round and it attaches, it's magnetic. It attaches right here at the top of my iPad to charge. So, all right. Now, I want to bring this red light bulb into that other project. So all I have to do is hold and drag, and I'm going to tap gallery. And then I'm going to come to this blue one and tap on, I need to tap on the blue one and bring it in here. And it's going to import it. See, now I have this red layer. And just to make things easier, so I don't want to take your time showing you how to draw. I'm going to come back to that project. Let's find, see, this is my original drawing, you guys, from a long, long time ago. And I decided for this platter, I didn't want the bulb to be so long. I want it to be short and wide. So I did change it a little bit using the transform tool. Let's see, do I have a yellow bulb in here somewhere? I want to get a yellow bulb. Let's turn that on. Yep, that's not quite. Somewhere I have, yeah. Well, I can show you how to recolor it. And that one's not bad, but I've got it in a group. I've got all these layers in a group, as you can see. So what I'll do is just go back to this one, and I am going to swipe to the left and tap on duplicate. Then you can see I have two red bulbs. I'm going to tap the transform tool. I'm going to move this over, and I want to color this inside yellow. So I'm going to tap on the selection tool, and I'm going to tap automatic and tap here. And my color fill, see how it filled it with black? I don't want it filled with black. I want it filled with yellow. And I'm going to fill that with yellow. And that is what I wanted you to see, that I can use the select tool to do that. So that's a yellow bulb now. That was easy. I'm going to tap the layers again. And now I have these three bulbs, as you can see here. Well, I need to have something to fill my center to show me what my platter would look like around a cookie cutter. This pencil actually has a vinyl sticker over the top of it. It's just a pencil. It looks like a pencil. And let me tell you, this is dangerous because I lose this all the time, and I think it's a pencil and I can never find it. So I did buy a leopard one and I haven't put it on yet. All right, I want to add a new layer. You see how each one of these is on a different layer? That's important, and that's the magic of Procreate, is that you have things on layers. So I want a separate layer for my image in the center. So I tap the plus sign and that makes a new layer. If you have this one highlighted and you tap the plus sign, it's going to put the new layer directly above it. Now, I'm going to swipe to the left and delete because I don't need that one. Whatever letter you're drawing, whatever layer you're drawing on is going to be blue, dark blue, because that's the one I have selected. I'm going to change my brush back to black. And then I want to go to my brushes. This is the color of my brush. I'm going to go to my brushes here. And I have stamps that I created. And I do teach how to make stamps in Procreate, in the Procreate Fast Track. I have cookie cutter stamps right here. So for the light bulb, I just want to do a circle. And you can simply draw a circle, but you can see if I tap that and I tap here, it gives me a circle. And that's just a stamp that I've made. And you see how it just stamps that. Now, if I wanted to choose this cookie cutter stamp, there's that. So 2-finger tap to undo. I'm going to tap on the transform tool. And remember, I'm on the circle layer. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Now, obviously, I don't know how big this is. So I'm going to go to the wrench tool and canvas, crop and resize, settings, And I am going to change this. I'm going to tap here. I want to first of all change it to inches. And I want this to be 12 by 12 inches because that's the size of my workspace in my Silhouette software and my Cricut software. And it just gives me a good idea. And you don't want to let it cut things off. So I'm going to just move this here so that those are kind of in the center. I'm going to tap done. And it's cropping my canvas to make it 12 by 12. All right, so we're still on the circle layer. I am going to turn on my drawing guide. And you guys, I know this is probably like, if you've never seen this, you're like, whoa, okay, that's a lot. It really is, when you see someone do it enough and do it a few times yourself, you will learn these tools. I can tell you right now that I did practice this and watch random videos that were not related to cookies to learn this, but now I'm kind of transferring that language for cookiers, and that's what I do in that course. So I'm going to change, I don't know if you saw that, I'm going to change the size. Let me go back to my edit drawing guide. I want to go to 2D grid size. I want to change this to inches. I want each one of these to be an inch. So when I tap inch and 1, hang on, 1.0. Oh, look, I keep typing in 1 and it says 111. Just 1 inch, please, and I'm done. So now I have inch grids, and this is 12 by 12 because we made the canvas 12 by 12, and these are inch grids. In my layers, I'm on the circle layer. I want to put this, and if you're wondering, can you see those yellow lines and blue lines popping up? I have snapping turned on. Now, magnetics, sometimes I'll leave on, sometimes I don't because it's annoying and it bugs me, but I want to be in the very center. So I can see this circle is 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. That's huge. So to reduce it, you see I'm tapping the transform tool. I'm going to bring this in and put that about right there. And that's going to be about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 inches. Let's do 3.5. 1, 2, that's probably going to be closer to 3.5. And I'm trying to place this circle in the center, and this snapping allows me to do that. Okay, I'm going to tap the transform tool, that's the arrow, and I'm going to come back to the layers, and I need to do something with my bulbs now, you see. I've got them all in, uh-oh, I cut that blue bulb off. Let's see if I cut it off entirely. See, whenever you get something outside of your border, you cut that off. I could not see that when I was resizing the canvas because I had it hidden. And so now it's cut off the blue bulb. I'm just going to leave it that way for now. But what we're going to do is try to figure out how big we want our light bulb cookie cutter to be. So I'm going to tap on the yellow layer. This is my layers tab. Tap on the yellow bulb. Tap on the transform tool. And I'm going to grab this green dot, and I'm going to turn this light bulb. And it's snapping to 45-degree increments because I have the snapping tool on. Now, if you want to see how big this cutter is, we'll just look. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. That's really big. Let's bring this in. Now, do you see when I'm resizing this, how it's staying in proportion? Take a look down here. Remember how I told you this bulb was long and skinny and I wanted it short and fat? You can do distort. See that? That's shearing, basically. Warp, where you can warp it and you can wrap it around if you want to. 2-finger tap to undo. Or freeform. And so when I was making my bulb fatter and wider and shorter, I used the freeform. So now let's see, I want to go back to uniform because I don't want it to be I don't want it to be wonky. So now we have 1, 2, that's going to be 3.5 inches. That's okay with me. Now, the red, I don't have the red to the size I want, so basically I want to keep these similar, and these are off in size. That's close enough for me that we're getting a visual here. That's all we're doing. And then I'll tap on the blue layer, even though it's cut off. We're going to turn it around. We're going to reduce the size of it. Now the blue layer is on the bottom, so I can't see it. It's behind there. And that was the same case with the red. So I'm going to drag this layer above so that the blue's on the top. Tap the transform tool and turn that a little. I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. There we go. That's close enough. So I'm going to move this down here and, whoa, 2-finger tap to undo. I need to grab this green dot. I'm going to put a blue one right here, right around my circle. Now you see how that's snapping to that circle? And that's okay. If I wanted to move it out this way, if I barely tap, 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 it's just barely moving that. Do you see? Tap, tap, tap. If you want to really perfect where you've got it. Then I'm going to take the yellow one and I'm going to put it here. And this is why snapping sometimes drives me crazy. So does magnetics. I'm going to turn the magnetics off because I want to perfect where I want this to be. See that yellow line? I don't know if you can see the yellow and blue lines popping up, but that's telling me it's in alignment here. Then I'm going to go back to the layers and grab the red one. I'm going to put it here. And there we go. Now, I can see the red, the yellow, and the blue. This is a little bit off from, oh, whoops, I'm still on my cookie cutter brush. Let's go back to my recent brushes, and I just want to choose monoline. That's usually where I leave it. So if you're a perfectionist, and some people are who do this, you can tap to get this right in the center and get it perfectly lined up. Okay? Now, let's take these three. I'm going to swipe to the left to turn, one is dark blue that I've selected, and two are light blue. I'm going to go ahead and just group these three bulbs, and you see it says new group. I'm going to collapse them by tapping on that caret. Then I'm going to swipe to the left again and duplicate it. Well, what just happened is I'm going to hide the one underneath and bring it back. It looks like nothing happened. See, when I hide one and bring one back, it's there. Watch. When I tap on the transform tool and I go, well, I don't want to resize it. You really have to tap right on that green dot. You can turn these and you can see, you really have to get on this dot, I'm telling you, that I'm just turning these to go right here. And then if you think they're too close together and you don't like that, make the cookie cutters a little bit smaller until you get it the way you want. Now, what I need to do is fill in these two. So I need these two red ones I'll put over here. So I'm going to grab these two red ones. And what I'm going to do is just, let's do this. I'm going to swipe to the left and duplicate. And then I'm going to grab my transform tool. I am going to rotate this one. And I'm going to move it right here, directly across. Then I'm going to grab, and there's multiple ways to do this, you guys. So many ways. Now, if I want to make sure I've selected the right one here, the way I have mine set up, I just hide it and bring it back. And I've clicked on this one, swipe to the left and duplicate, go to the transform tool, and I am going to flip it vertically and just move it right down here. Now you see they're too close. However, it's okay. If I just reduce the size of each one of these, I can just leave the transform tool selected and make this a little smaller. Then they're all going to fit. And like I said, if you're a mathematician, you can go back in here and you can figure this out, what size they need to be. I'm not. So I'm just eyeballing this right now. And if you're just doing this for yourself to see, you know, how a platter would look, or if you want to share it with a customer or a digital, you can See, I'm just barely tapping and it's moving a little, although it's snapping, and I'm not going to turn that off because it drives me nuts. Okay, so basically, without taking too much more time to show you this process, that is basically how you get your platter set up. Now, this circle in the middle I just use as a guide, but you may have a circle cookie cutter you use in the middle of your platter, or a plaque, or whatever it may be. But I set this up for 12 by 12. Now, all I want to do is take one of these bulbs and I want to export the image of it so that I can make a cookie cutter. So I'm just going to choose, let's just choose this red one. So I'm going to press down right here on this little arrow, and when I press down, it's going to isolate that layer. I'm going to turn off the background color. Now this grid in the background you see, I don't know if, yeah, you can see it. It's not going to show up, and the reason I turned off the background color is because I want a transparent PNG. So if I want to, if that is bothering me, that grid, I can just tap the wrench icon, which is the actions, and tap drawing guide, and it will turn that off. Now this is ready for me to export to make a cookie cutter. There are lots of ways, you guys, lots of ways to do this. I can do it right here on my iPad. I can save it as a PNG to my photos, upload that, or I can even save it as a file, upload that to CookieCAD, or get on my computer. And I have Macs, so I have AirDrop and I have the cloud and everything saves there. I can open Fusion 360 and make a cookie cutter there from the image. There's lots of ways, and I teach all of them. So for me, when I use CookieCAD, I like to make the whole image black so that CookieCAD can really read it and really detect the outer lines, and that's just me. But you certainly can do it like this with the colors. But because I like to fill mine with black, I'm going to tap the layers, and I am going to duplicate this one and bring it all the way up to the top because, well, no, let's take it to the bottom. I think I always put my cookie cutters at the bottom. I'm going to hide one of these. You see it's still there though. That's because I have this one showing. To fill this with black, I'm going to color drop. Oh, black. I'm dragging and dropping, and oh, that's not what I want. I thought I went back to monoline there. All right, I'm going to drag black into here, and see how it says color drop and the threshold. Whoops, I let off my pencil. I'm just filling this with all black, and I'm going to continue filling. If you let off the color threshold, you'll just draw a line. So that's what's happening there. So there is my black bulb that I can make a cookie cutter out of. So you tap the wrench and you tap share. We are going to save a PNG. I want the transparent background. And I am going to, I can message it to myself. I can airdrop it to my Mac, which I think I'll do. I can save the image in my photos, and there's a million things, you guys, that you can do for this. Okay, it says it's waiting on my Mac, and I think my Mac is grabbing it. So, oh, the part of the bulb, yeah, I accidentally cut it off, and just so that I didn't have to take the time to fix it during this tutorial, I left it. But yeah, it should not be cut off. Anytime let me go back here. Anytime, let me show you. I'll turn on the background again so you can see it. In Procreate, anytime you use the transform tool and you bring something off to the side and you tap off of it, tap on it again, you're cutting it off. Let me give you a tip though, since I'm showing you that. If you want to cut something in half to make it perfectly symmetrical, if I've drawn this myself and I need it to be symmetrical and it's not, I'll just, on purpose, I will cut something in half. Then I'll bring it back out here. Then I'll come over here and I will duplicate what I cut in half, go to the transform tool, flip it, move it over, and this is where you can turn on snapping, and it'll snap to the shape and it'll line it up. And if you don't think you have it in line, which I don't, you can put that over a little bit more. And then I'll go back to my layers and I will merge this down, and let me isolate that again. And now I have a perfectly symmetrical bulb, since you asked. I can't see who said that. Is that Mary? Who misses me? I'm trying to figure out who said that. So anyway, that is the process in Procreate and how to export. Again, you guys, there's a million ways to do this. I even have snowflake clip art, and I was going to make a platter out of the snowflake clip art. And you can see that one's a little crooked because I realized I needed to go live. But you can really just, here's the snowflake, and I can use this commercially and I can make changes to it. So I was trying to make a snowflake pattern. So it's very, very simple to do. And there's my gallery. I've got trees and holly and gosh, I don't even know. I have other platters too, and I have millions of platters. So all right, now let's go to Silhouette Studio. And I'm going to turn off my iPad here. So these little cutters were from Platters that we made in our other tutorial last week. And like I said, I always share the cutters. I'll share that light bulb cutter file with you. If you have a 3D printer, you can print it. If the stencil that we make today, I'll share that with you as well. And I usually show how to bridge a stencil for a traditional stencil. Oh, it's Mimi. Hey, Mimi. Hello. And I always share the silkscreen stencil version as well, because if you're making one, you're making the other. You can do both. Okie doke. Let me get over here. I haven't looked for any questions, but like I said, I will come back through here and answer questions. Let's see. I'm looking. Why wouldn't you just copy the... Well, you know what? You can do anything you want. There are so many ways to do this. And I like to show a variety of options. And when I originally made one bulb, or the bulbs, I had them in 3 colors. And so that was just the process I used. But you can certainly recolor the bulbs to however you want. Maybe you want to add green in there. You know, you can do it a million ways. Like you can see, I have green in here. So you can color these, or you can duplicate the multiple colors and duplicate them again and flip them. And there's just a variety of ways to do these things. That's all. All right. Okay. Let me close this. I'm also going to turn my phone off because it's going to run down my battery because I've got that special camera running. And then let's talk about Silhouette Studio. So in Silhouette Studio, you know how I just showed you how to put the circle around the platter? See how this one is perfectly aligned? Now, obviously, these Christmas trees are going to overlap each other, which is fine. Sometimes you may not want them to overlap. You can chop out the edges if you want to. But for this tutorial today, I'm going to show you how to make a platter like this one is overlapping. This one may not be overlapping, though, with the bulb. So let's move it. I'm going to group this one by pressing Command G on my Mac and move it over. And when I'm working, you guys, I always put my originals at the top. You can see when I imported the image of this platter, I actually traced it and cut it out. So this one, I thought this Merry Christmas was a cute font and it would be a good silk screen stencil. Cursive letters are so good for silk screens, especially if they're thinner. And so I'm going to move these words here. And we're going to work right here on this mat. Now for this tutorial today, I have the grids turned on my mat. If you don't want those on and you're in Silhouette Studio, you press G and they go away, G and they come back. So do you see how when I select this, see how it has this big box around it? That is because when I exported this picture, I exported it as, it was a 12 by 12, and it was huge when I brought this in, and I reduced the size. So the transparent background, the reason I turned that white background off is so that this would be transparent. Now, what I need to do is trace this bulb so that we can build our cookie platter right here. In case you have clip art, you don't have Procreate, and you want to build a platter in Silhouette Studio, it's super, super easy. What I'm going to do is click the trace icon right here, this little butterfly icon. I'm going to click select trace area right here, and I'm going to click and drag over the bulb. Now that's a really nice trace, but if it were not a solid yellow, I would turn this up a little bit to get a better trace. And either way, you see how when I turn it down, it doesn't trace anything at all. I'm just going to turn it up to about here. I am going to trace and detach because this is a PNG image that I'm tracing. To make those lines around it, I'm making those lines around it so that I can either turn it into an SVG file, or I'm just turning it into a file that I can fill with solid color for when I want to make a cookie cutter. But I'm basically making it cuttable when I trace it, and I'll show you. I'm going to trace and detach. I'm going to bring this over here now. And now do you see when I click on it how the bounding box is very close? And you see the outline that it left here? See how that is still there? You wouldn't know all this is here because it's transparent, but I don't need this. I'm going to delete it. Since I detached the bulb, here it is. And it is actually a cuttable file now. And I'll click send and show you what I mean. So do you see how the red outline is around it? That means that's where it would cut if I were to cut this or make this into a stencil. But I'm not going to. I just wanted to show you what tracing it does. And if you look at this one, because it's a PNG, watch what happens when I click on this. Let me move this one over. What would cut around this one? See how it says no cut? That's an automatic feature. I'm going to have to select cut. It's going to cut this, just the box out, because this is a PNG, just like this one was with a transparent background. But I traced it, and so now the light bulb is cuttable. If I wanted to make all of this cuttable, I would just have to trace this one as well. But there's no need for that. We just need the one light bulb. So here is our light bulb. And I want this cutter, first of all, I'm going to turn it straight up so that I can see what I'm doing here. I want to make this 3 inches. It's about 3 by 3, which is good. That's a good size. And by the way, if I wanted to turn this into a stencil with a 2-part, you heard me say I can do this all day long. I could trace this blue area, I could trace the green area, and I could make this a 2-part stencil for a background Christmas bulb stencil. We're not doing that today, but that's a possibility. All right, so now if I want to, let me go ahead and I can change the color of these bulbs. I just hate to take the time during this tutorial because it takes a long time. I'm covering a lot of stuff today. Normally I do not cover this much in one tutorial because I wanted to show you how to make a stencil too. But normally I would either grab one of these yellow, red, and green bulbs, or I would just take this one and trace the inside, and I would change the colors so that you could see the variety. But for our tutorial purposes, we're only going to use the blue. That's going to make everything go faster. I want to use flexi shapes. I am going to click save because sometimes when I use the flex shapes, it shuts down Silhouette Studio, and I do not want that to happen. So let me click save. All right, is it saved? Yeah. I'm going to use just one of these flex shapes for a cookie cutter. We can do a circle, or we can actually do a shape. See all these different shapes? We have a variety in here. I really just want to use a circle. It's pretty easy. So draw an ellipse, or the shortcut for that is just simply pushing E on your keyboard for ellipse. If I hold down the shift key, it keeps it a perfect circle. If I let off, it makes it into an ellipse or oval. I want this to be about 3.5 inches, so I'm going to come up here And I have a big computer screen so you can see these numbers, but if not, you're going to have to click. There's a little toggle you'll click to reveal the width and the height. All right, I also am going to go ahead and make this cookie white. I don't want to make the background white. This is my quick access panel. I'm going to fill the cookie with white. I'm going to outline the cookie here with black, and I'm going to up the points on that line so that you can actually see it. Now I want this in the perfect center of this map. So I'm going to come up here and you see this little icon centered a page. It's going to put that circle right in the middle. Now you're probably thinking, how is she going to just duplicate all these and place them around? Nope, this is really easy. So I'm going to grab this bulb and press O on my keyboard. And do you see this little, this is the center of rotation tool. People get this turned on accident and it drives them nutty. I know the center of this circle is approximately right here. See this line across here, this line here, that's about the center. And I can click and I can drag and move this thing anywhere. That's going to be my center of rotation. Now, if I want this bulb closer to the circle, I just move it down. All right, we're going to go to Object and Replicate, and I am going to rotate 5 copies. And there's my 5 copies. Very quick, very easy, all ready to go. If you want to rotate 4 or 3, you can do it however you want. If you want these to be closer, you can, let's see, if I rotated, let me do this. Let me undo. I'm going to rotate, replicate, and rotate 3 copies. And then I'm going to select them all. And I am going to press, I can duplicate these, and there they are. And they're all selected, the ones that I duplicated, and I'm going to turn those, and I'm going to put 4, 4, and 4. And as you can see, the bulbs do bump a little bit, just a tiny bit, but that's okay. If I click and drag over all of these and hold down Shift and deselect the circle in there, I can make these a little bit smaller, and then I can shift them however I want, you guys. You're the designer. You can do whatever you want here. You can shift these around, and obviously when you're baking these cookies, you're going to lay them around the way you want anyway. So I just made these 2.9 by 2.875. Now, there's your platter and what it would look like with all blue bulbs. But like I said, you can change the color. Oops, you can change the color of these bulbs. I'm pressing Command Z to undo. If you're on a PC, it's Control. And that is exactly what I did to these trees to get that circle. Now, let's do a merry and bright stencil. We've got our platter here. Maybe you want to save this. So I'm going to group all these together, Command G, Control G on a PC. Now I want to get rid of this silly thing because you'll end up grabbing it and it'll drive you nuts. Just press O on your keyboard again. Now this is 10 by 10. If you have a platter box that this will not fit into, if you have a 12 by 12 box, you're fine. If you have a smaller square box, 9 by 9, you can reduce the size of this just, by dragging it in. You're making your cookie cutters the size that you want in the cutter software. We're not going to have time to do a cookie cutter tutorial today with this, but we are designing the platter and a stencil to go in it. So let's go ahead and, do you see this A on the left? If I click on it, it will activate the text tool. I can also press T on my keyboard and click right here because I want to type here. And I'm going to type merry and bright. Now, it's left justified. I'm going to hover here and click center. And I don't want this, obviously, I don't want this font. And I want to be able to grab that. And I'm going to fill it with color so I can grab a hold of it easily. I'm going to make it black. And I'm going to make the lines black. You guys, just because you change the red cut lines to another color doesn't mean it won't cut. It just means you change the cut line color. The silhouette color is red, and I always change mine. Maybe you don't want to, though, because that's how you remember that you've traced something. I just know what I've done. I've done this for so long. and I like to make my cut lines the same color as my image. So the text tool for changing the font is over here. It's the A on this side. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to move this over here so you can see. This Marion Bright is highlighted. See how I have clicked on it and you see the bounding box? You know, I don't have a font in mind, but there are all kinds of fonts. I have like 5,000 fonts on my computer. You don't want something like this. That's got way too many jagged edges. Let's super zoom in here. So see how that is, that will not work. Unless you're printing, that'll work fine, but we are not printing. So with it still highlighted, I'm thinking of one that let's see, one that I love. I can't remember the name of it. So I just chose Christmas. So this is Christianity. It's plain. I really like that one with these bulbs because it's kind of simple and playful. But I have Christmas cookies. I have Christmas cookie crunch. I have all kinds of things, but I really like that, this one. All right, I'm going to close this box and we're going to go with this one. Not only is that easy for a silk screen, super easy, it's easy for bridging. Now, I don't like the distance between here and the bottom, so what I'm going to do is click on it. I'm going to bring my text tool back up here, and you can see character spacing and line spacing. Well, the line spacing is off, and for me, I want to make it closer. I want that and closer to the Mary, but look what's happening. It's getting closer to the bride. Well, that's not what I want. So what I am going to do, and what I always do, I always duplicate. I have insurance, and I always put my insurance right up here where I can find it at the top of my virtual workspace in case I goof up, all right? Now, you see when I double click how I have these green bars? That means this text is editable. Once I ungroup this, like I'm getting ready to do, if I ungroup it, I cannot go back and edit it again like I can when I double click and I get this edit tool. So what I like to do is create that duplicate. I put it right up here for insurance. I call it insurance, okay? So I'm going to ungroup this, Shift Command G, Shift Control G on a PC, and then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move this off. I'm going to grab the Mary and press Command G to group it back together. Grab the Bright, Command G to group that back together. And I'm just going to scoot this up where I want it to be rather than relying on my computer. So click and drag, Command G to group that together. So now what we've got is the design for our silkscreen stencil. I'm going to turn the grids off back there because I don't like that, and I'm going to super zoom in. If you are making any comments, you guys, I can't see them because I'm working in the software, so I'll go back and check those. For a silk screen, this is the design process. We're not actually going to be assembling this thing, but I'm going to show you how to design it. Draw a rectangle. That's what this one is. You can also press R on your keyboard. I'm going to hold down Shift for it to be perfectly square. My silk screens, I typically make for Silhouette Studio 5.85. I'm going to change one of them up here, one of the width or height. It's locked, so it's going to stay in proportion. You can certainly make your silk screen 6 inches or even bigger or smaller. You don't need a big square around it. That's if you're using a stencil holder, and that is because some people like a stencil holder, but you don't need one all the time because when you put your icing through that silk screen material, it suctions it to the cookie basically. So right now, you're going to see me turn this square a color, and that Mary and Bright is going to be hidden because it's underneath on the lower layer. So to bring this, or to send this backward, you see how I can click here and send to back? Then I'll click and drag, and I will center those up and press Command G. There's my silk screen. Now, it's ready to cut. If you are a Silhouette user. If you're a Cricut user, you need to take another step, and that I go through all of that in the club. It is another step. It's a simple step of making it a compound path and exporting the SVG file, and you need Silhouette Business Edition to do that, and I talk all about that and explain all of that in the club. There's just too much to cover in one tutorial, and we're already at an hour, you guys. Time goes so fast when I'm teaching, and I have such a good time. So you just saw me duplicate that. So to duplicate it with it selected, you can press Command or Control and the arrow, whichever way you want it to duplicate. And this is an original. I'm putting it right here. This is a silk screen. I'm going to go ahead and just set this off to the side. This will be one that I share with you. This one we are going to bridge real quickly. In Silhouette Studio, guys, bridging is so fast and so easy with the knife tool. So I'm going to ungroup it, Shift Command G, and I'm going to move this over. I'm going to press K for my knife tool. I've got it on solid, straight, and auto apply. And I have it set to 3/100 of an inch. These M's are going to need, this E is going to need bridge, so I'm going to do it. This M I'm going to think about, because I'm going to think about where I want to bridge it. We can bridge the R. I'm going to bridge the, now if you're scraping downward, you'd be okay without bridging that Y. The R is going to be a little tricky. So that cut, I just kind of drug it into thin air. These M's, you can come across here, and that's probably your best bet. And I'll show you how to fix this area here in just a minute. I'm going to come down the back side of that area, and that'll be just fine. Now, I don't want to spend the time doing two R's, so I'm going to delete this one, even though I put that bridge there, and I'll show you. And here's another one. I'll show you how I like to do that. For the B, I'm just going to go straight down the back here. I doesn't need a bridge. Anything that has an enclosed area inside is called a counter, like inside the G or the R or the B. And we have to open those up so that these little areas leave the plastic in place, kind of like fingers to hold on to the counters. We'll need one here, and you can be very particular about where you put your bridges, or you can just randomly make them. I'm usually pretty particular, and I will go through and fix all the edit points as well. So now that I'm done with the knife tool, you see it's still there. I'm going to press V on my keyboard. I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to bring up these edit points. This is the magic of Silhouette Studio. This is why I love it so much. I love these edit points. So double clicking, you see these edit points pop up. See how I'm double clicking? And these edit points are what make things totally, now I've just moved that down, but I want to smooth it out. So here's the point editing panel that pops up. I'll tap smooth, and that smooths that out for me. I'm just going to scoot it over a teeny bit, and then that one's okay. Let's delete this R, and then let's clean this up here. And a good designer, you guys, a good designer cleans up the edit points and doesn't leave a lot of extra edit points. Now, if you're doing it for you, you can leave all the edit points you want. But let's click and drag over this and group both halves of this R together. Command or Control G if you're on a PC. Command and the right arrow. There's another R. And remember, I said we're going to need another one. So Command and the down arrow. And let's bring this down here. Now, this R is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to grab the one I just bridged and make it just a little bit bigger. Get rid of this one, scoot this one up. And I'm the designer, so I can make it any size I want. This is okay here unless you don't want that area, but I'm okay with leaving that because when your icing gets underneath a little bit there, it'll close that gap up. All right. We haven't done the and yet. And the and has two counters in it, here and here. So press K on the keyboard. I am going to do a bridge here. And close up, you're really going to see what happens here. And I'm going let's see, I'm going to do one here. We'll go this direction. And so we're going to also need one here. Otherwise, that little white area in there is just going to flip up. This is a pretty big area here, so we could do one more right here. I'll press V on the keyboard, and I always clean these areas up if they look a little bit jagged. Now, these purple handles allow me to grab a hold of them and curve that back the way it was. This one, I'm just going to make it a little bigger, scoot it over, that's good. Double click to get those edit points to pop up. And remember, you guys, I'm walking you through every single step here, and when I am doing this myself, and once you learn, it doesn't take near as long. Okay, let's back out of here. There is our bridge stencil, and when I back out, you see, I can see I didn't put one here, and I need to. I'm going to press V on my keyboard because I still have the super zoom selected. See that magnifying glass? So I'm going to press K now, and let's put a little bridge there. And I'm going to press V because I want to clean up the back edge of this Y. And whichever way your red line is going, that's the direction it's going to delete edit points. And I just back out away from it and I take a look at everything. Let's see how big this is. I tend to sometimes make the dots on my I's or J's a little bigger just so they cut well. And I'm going to bring this and up a tiny bit. I'm going to press Command G because I chopped it all into little bits. And I like this and where it's at, so Command G to group everything together. Now, that rectangle I was using, I can use that to cut a regular traditional stencil. It doesn't have a tab on it, but you don't have to have one. If you want one, it's easy though. This is the most question I get asked. So, draw an ellipse. People ask me all the time, how do you get that tab on there? Well, it's really easy. I just drew my ellipse right at the top of that. Now, that makes it over 6 inches tall. And that's not going to work. So let's bring this down to 5.5 by 5.5. So my square, I just entered 5.5 and hit enter. And because it's locked or constrained, it'll stay in proportion. I don't want it to be taller than 5.8 for sure. So I just grab that ellipse and click and drag. And let me show you in case you're wondering. I'll change that to a different color. See it? There it is. Now, it is 5.752, which is fine, by 5.5. Now we need to weld these together. So Shift Command W or Shift Control W on a PC. Again, it's on top of that Merry and Bright, so we can send it to the back. See there? Send to the back is right up here. Click and drag, and I'm going to center everything. However, I'm going to scoot this up because when it centers it, it's accounting for this oval. And that is so weird. It doesn't look in the center, but it probably is. Yeah, it even moved it more to the right. Click and drag, Command G, and there you have it, your bridge stencil. So we have a silk screen stencil. We have a bridged stencil. We made our platter. This Merry and Bright, we know fits on this size of a cutter, which I think I made it, what I make it, 3.5? 3.635, yeah, something. But a 3.5 inch cutter. Just make sure it fits your cutter. You're the designer. You can do whatever you want. I showed you how to use Procreate to make, not this one, but I did do that one earlier, to make something similar to this one. This one I used a plaque, my plaque stamp, rather than the circle, but you can do either. Also, I suggest that you click save frequently because sometimes, oh boy, my computer will shut down and I am totally lost. Oh my gosh. When my computer shuts down, or Silhouette, it usually will, save it for me, but then it asks me, do I want to discard? And I'm like, no, but then it doesn't save everything. So sorry about my lighting today. I'm in a different room and I don't have all my lighting. So normally in a normal club tutorial, I don't cover quite so much and so fast, but I wanted to give you a good overview today. I feel like today I went fast. Normally I talk much slower, but we're already at an hour and 15 minutes. Normally what I would do is do the Procreate portion and show you how to export that and make a cookie cutter. And then the following week, I would do the silhouette portion and show you how to make the stencils and export the SVG files to cut in Cricut Design Space or in, if you have a Brother Scan and Cut. I walk you through every single thing that you need to do, and I talk about every keystroke that I'm making on my keyboard, whether you're using a PC or a Mac. And I really try to go into as much detail as possible. It does take a little bit longer, but if you're like me, I try to. Your interests are, and my interests are too, cookie decorating, but it's also my work, and so a lot of times at night I have subscriptions to other memberships. I have one to 6Bs because I love Brittany's designs. And so at night, when I want to learn something or do something different, it is still cookie decorating, it's not designing. I will turn that on my iPad and I will just watch that. And I love doing that. It helps me relax. And, you know, it's some of the tutorials that I watch. Other people too, they might be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, but I like watching those because I feel like the more I immerse myself in them, the more that I learn. And it'll be the same way with the Colorful Cookie Club and the design process of everything. I show how to use Fusion 360, Cookie CAD. I show how to put the lettering on the wall of the cutter. I do use Bella in Fusion 360. I also use my Bamboo P1P printer. By the way, if you're looking for a printer, the Bamboo P1P is amazing. It's the best printer I've ever had. I have 6 of them. So they print so fast, lightning speed, beautiful cutters I don't know if you can see that, every single time. Plus, I think part of it is the filament that I use too. I don't even think this took 20 minutes to print. It was so fast. These are super shiny. You can see the nice handle. Let's see. This one I did in, this one is in using Bella from Sam's Cookie Company in Fusion 360. This one actually I did in Cookie CAD, and I know that because it has a flat handle and the edge is not beveled. But I try to make, I don't know if you can see the cutting edge and the wall and the handle very similar in both of the programs that I use and teach. So, and the Bamboo Handy, the Bamboo software, oh my gosh, you can put your text right on the wall of your cutter, and it's just amazing. So if you're looking for a printer, the Bamboo P1P is awesome. So, thank you, Donna. No new glasses. I can't find my contacts. I've got them in a box somewhere. Knife tool, there is no knife tool in Design Space, unfortunately, and no edit points. However, Design Space, I have to brag on them. They have been making improvements for over a year. It's frustrating sometimes because my software will update every time I open Design Space, and sometimes it stalls out and shuts down. But overall, once they get the kinks worked out from the most recent update, they've added an offset tool for lots of things we can use that for, including cookie cutters. They've added so many tools, but no edit points and no knife tool in Design Space yet. So, okay. Well, yes, I do teach Procreate. Yes. Oh my gosh. I not how to, but I teach Procreate, the app on the iPad. My sister laughed at that, and it made me stop and think, you know, that does sound funny. And also, Linda, who is a club member and has been for a long time, she laughed so many times. She would comment and said, "That sounds funny." I'm like, "Yes, it does." But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. If you want to join the club, Santa can certainly buy you a membership, and we're even going to discount it a little bit. That will go out next week in an email. You can get signed up at thecolorfulcookie.com for the wait list, and you'll get that email right away. I'll post it on social media. I will be sharing these files. I'll share the bulb cookie cutter and the tree cookie cutter because I drew that artwork myself. I don't share files from things that I don't have permission. A lot of artists will give me permission to share their files as cutters and stencils. Sometimes, like if I use Silhouette Studio images, I can't do that. But if it's my own, I will. So I will also share the 2 stencils with you, the silk screen and the bridge stencil, and the 2 cutters. And I hope you enjoyed this today, and I would love to have you join us in the club next week when we open it up. Procreate for Cookiers Fast Track is always open. You can just click on, and I'll put a link in the comments of all these so that you can find it, because that teaches the ins and outs of Procreate, all the tools that we use. And I didn't go through those today. It would have it's too massive and overwhelming. But I break it down really simple in that Procreate for Cookiers course. And we have a free Procreate for Cookiers Facebook group. So if you're not in that group, join that. And I haven't been active in there because I've been busy with so many other things. But I'm active in the Colorful Cookie Club and Cookie-a-thon every single day. So thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Question. If you are a current member, I understand you have to renew and pay again, but is there a limit or do you have to go on a wait list? There's no limit, and you don't have to go on a wait list if you're already a member. Is that your question? If you're a current member, you have to renew and pay again, but is there a limit? No. You don't. If you are a current member, your membership automatically renews. Yes. All righty. Well, I'll be back to answer questions later on today. I'll go back into each event and answer those and post links to everything. And I will let you know there how I'm going to be sharing the files with you. I'll have to find a way to do that because I can't share those on Facebook or in the groups. Facebook doesn't allow you to share STL files. Well, no. Can you? I can't remember. Possibly. You cannot share SVG files. So, all right. You're welcome, you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'll try to do more of these once in a while. It's really fun. And I do it every week in the club. And that's where I spend my most time. I love my club so, so much. Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.